Today was the People's March, as it was named in Albuquerque, Women's March nationwide, and January 19th on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. But there is some intersectionality between the People's Movement, People's March. It's all about, and MLK Jr. and all the civil rights and social justice issues, the oppression, the repression, the fascism, the authoritarianism that marginalized groups experience in the United States Democratic Republic. And so the intersectionality, I believe, is where we all realize that we have the same struggles, the same fights. We are dealing with the very same people. And so we can come together, and we don't have to forget about those folks who, when it counted, didn't show up for us. We can partner with people we don't trust. And I was faced with that exact dilemma that has been going on for the entire time for this genocide, because there has been genocide of the Palestinians since before the Nakba in 1947. So we all, or I at least, acknowledge that the United States is funding a Zionist genocide. There are folks in Israel, settlers, from the United States who are about human rights. So I don't want to say the Israeli genocide, because truly it is a Zionist genocide, and most of them Americans. And so I acknowledge that my country, my tax dollars are being used to commit genocide. So how do I reconcile going to a rally that's pretty much organized by a political party in the United States that wouldn't even let Palestinians on the stage at their convention? That's how afraid they are of losing that special interest money that they get from AIPAC. And let's not forget the industrial war complex that the Democrats, at least in New Mexico, get a lot of funding from. New Mexico is uranium heaven, so they get it out of Navajo land, and they frack the heck out of our natives' lands, our peoples, and well, they're their own people. And I do recognize I live on Tiwa unceded, stolen Tiwa land in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so why did I go to the Women's March, People's March, when I knew that half that crowd, probably most of that crowd, are folks who voted for Harris and rationalized somehow in themselves that it was okay to for the Democratic Party and for that candidate and all the candidates they voted for. Melanie Stansbury, Representative Stansbury, spoke with her today. I do appreciate that she's willing to run. I do not appreciate that she was late to the no genocide. I believe she's sort of there. So why did I participate? Because it's the people. We, the people, have the power, and we, the people, have to learn how to get along with folks. We need to educate. Well, they should be educating themselves. It's not our job to educate folks who want to live in privileged reality and not acknowledge with empathy that America is not the same for all of us. Let's be honest and truthful. So I went to the People's March today, and I do want to acknowledge, thank you to Mutual Aid, the heater guys, my two friends, partner, male and female, and so Free Luigi. And I also want to recognize and acknowledge, right, genocide that the United States is funding, and we have ruined. And this alleged ceasefire, right, TikTok going out, the day before the genocide is supposed to be over, ceasefire, and it's not permanent. TikTok, yeah, you know what Israel was doing that whole time TikTok was down? Yeah, bombing the hell out of more Palestinians and innocent people. And it's not just Palestinians, right? It's the doctors, the medical workers who are there from all over the world. They're getting bombed. Journalists who are there from all over the world, right? How many did we kill because we didn't want that message out there? And I say we because it's the United States. Those are United States planes, United States bombs that are being dropped on innocent Palestinian people. So I want to acknowledge my friend Kathy Young. Thank you. Oh my goodness, this hat has kind of like a bonnet thing inside. It's absolutely delightful, and I think she bought it off of Amazon. And then this real cool, rebel. Woohoo! Yes. All right, rebel pilot. And so thank you to Kathy for that. So Women's March today, very enlightening. How do we find a way? Maybe you all have a way that you can share with myself or with others. How are you reconciling? Because now Trump is the evil. It's not just Trump, right? Trump is really not our evil. We're against elitists. We're against oligarchy. We're against a lot of money. That is not in the best interest of the American citizenry or the world. The United States is a terrible partner in the world. We are the #1 manufacturer and weapons dealer. There's not a country on this earth that the United States has not interfered with their governance or their people. Senegal and Congo, right? Yes, there are Dutch, Belgium, country, Israel, Saudi Arabia, right? They're all in there messing with the continent of Africa. But the United States is unique in that we really have a lot of privilege, a lot of power. And because we develop nuclear weapons, we have bases all over the world, right? We really reign not as an agent for good, but an agent for evil. So if we're going to get that changed and we're going to help bring peace to this planet, which my belief is that's not ever going to happen, but we can work towards that so people don't die as a result of our greed and our consumption and our capitalism and our just need to control every geopolitical region through force, oppression, repression, fascism, and authoritarianism. So I'm going to be part of neither of those major political parties, but I do need to work with them because they're the ones that are in the leadership positions where bills are signed and made. And so do I trust any of them? No. Do they trust me? Absolutely not. Do I need to work with them for the good of my community? I'm going to try. Will they keep shutting their... I mean, there are people from the Democratic Party who I've been friends with for a long, long time who don't even speak to me. And they haven't spoken to me in probably a good 4 months. I'm sad about that. Some of them were truly really good friends, but they made their choice. They voted for, they didn't have the courage to stand firm and really hold these Democrats accountable. Some of them even went to the convention. And rather than, I mean, Harris was a shoo-in. I already did a video on this. Harris was a shoo-in. So states, if they had said, we're not casting one daggum vote for Harris unless you guys put some Palestinians on the platform, or you at least have no arms to Israel or stop the genocide or something in the Democratic platform. But no, these folks were just so excited, woo, they were willing to forego, rationalize in some way. They couldn't even have the courage to say, leverage their vote. They couldn't even do it in the primaries when some of these people were running unopposed, and they couldn't even do that then. So am I disgusted with quite a few people? Absolutely. Do I need to work with them? I don't see a way around it. Do I let them know? Yeah, do they know that I'm not exactly thrilled? In fact, have a lot of disdain for the decisions that were made. As humans, they're, still get to be treated with respect, even if they make abominable, hideous decisions, just like I make terrible decisions sometimes, and people have to call me out, and that's great, that's fine. So yeah, I'm going to collaborate, I'm going to work with these folks, and so what do you think? What are you doing with the apologists, rationalizers that are in your sphere of influence who were just fine with genocide, and here now we have to face, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, right? You have all these different kingdoms, and people who were previously enemies, they have a loose alliance, and so maybe that's what we do again in this next 4 years, although I'm going to do another video because I think Trump is not going to make it past this year. He's going to have a heart attack, or, maybe he'll get fake shot in the air again, so he can... I don't know. Maybe he'll shit himself to death in his old diapers. I don't know. But I do have another video because I have a theory that Trump is going to be out, and who I think will be in next in his 4-year term. They just need him inaugurated, and then they really don't need him anymore after that. All right.